first, I just want to say that we've been on the brink of divorce. And I don't. That's a strong statement,
Sure.
but I've definitely considered it, and so is she.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't know if I can do this anymore.
Yeah.
In fact, she told me recently she probably wouldn't like me sharing this. You know what? I'm gonna start. Well, she really considered it. Well, I'll just say that at one point she really considered it when it was really hard. So I just want to say that, like, it's not all roses, and it's definitely been really challenging at times. I'll tell you what was the game changer for me. And actually, I just spoke at a Front Row Dads event, and this was the crux of my message at the event. In 2016, we moved from California to Texas, and we came out, looked at houses, didn't find anything we liked, had a second trip scheduled, and she couldn't, for whatever reason, at the last minute, she had to stay back, and I came by myself. But we had sold our house. We had to find a house. So I had to find it sight unseen, which never a good idea. And so I find this house. I love it. I FaceTime her or whatever. She's like, looks great. I trust you. Get it. I get it. And then we fly into the house, and we have to take separate flights for some reason. She flies in with the kids, drives to the new house. I actually go to the car dealership because I had left my car in California, turned in the lease, had a new car waiting for me here. I get a call from her. We're at the dealership. I'm at the dealership, and I go, "Oh, hold on, my wife's calling. She's seeing our house for the first time. This is gonna be great. Hold on. I can't wait to hear." And she's like, "I do not like it at all." And I go, "Yeah, right. Isn't it amazing?" She's like, "I'm not joking." And I just am like, I don't know what to. I just bought a house for us, and she doesn't like it. And I'm like, why don't you? And she starts naming off all the things she doesn't like. She's like, I'm sorry, but I'm just being honest. Like, I'm like, oh, I can't talk to you right now. I'm signing paperwork. I love you. I'll call you in a little bit. And so that was the start of, like, that summer. And I was working a lot. I think we were already in a really stressful place. Now she's living in an environment that she doesn't like. And so a lot of conflict. So our marriage started to really spiral into a really bad place. And within a couple of months, we're supposed to go on a camping trip, and we get in this huge blowout fight. And I'm like, I don't remember. I think it was me that decided. I'm like, I'm not going. I'm not going. I'm not going. I don't want to go. I don't want to be around you. Whatever. So I decided not to go on the camping trip. And part of me, and by the way, this is how messed up my priorities were. I'm like, great, I can work, right? Like, my kids were little, dude. In hindsight, I would have never missed that camping trip, and I would never right now. But then I was a workaholic. I didn't undiagnosed, didn't realize it. It was all for the family. It was a story we all tell ourselves, all of us entrepreneurs. But I realized our kids aren't going to remember how many mortgage payments we made, or how many books we sold, or how many speeches we gave, right? And so they leave, and while she's gone, I read this article by Brian Reeves called "Choose Her Every Day." Have you heard of this? Buy the book. He just came out with a book. I read this article, and he basically it makes me realize that my wife is not my priority, and that I have one foot out the door, and I'm not fully committed. And then this was the real breakthrough that it led to, that transformed my marriage, and that I would say this is the real answer. I always take forever to get the answer. This is the answer. I realized that I was in what I call a reciprocal relationship, meaning I reciprocated her energy, her mood, the way she treated me. And I think we all do this, right? It's very normal. If someone is nice to you, your spouse or a stranger, right, you naturally feel inclined to reciprocate that niceness, that kindness, whatever. If someone is rude to you, your spouse or anyone, you feel very justified, and it's very natural to reciprocate that energy. And I realize this is not a winning formula, not a winning strategy. We have ups and downs because it's reciprocal. And if she's in a bad mood, right, that's not even about me, but she's going to naturally come from that place of she's angry, so it's not about me, but I'm going to take it personally, and then I'm going to come right back at her. So I had the epiphany. I went, what if I just, in writing, and this became my miracle morning, I go, what if I clarify in writing who I'm committed to being as a husband? Like, the values, the behaviors, the attitude, the mindset, and even, and especially when she comes at me with anger, or she puts me down, or whatever it is, How will I respond? Who am I committed to being, not just when things are easy and great? Who am I committed to being when she is, in my mind, coming at me in a way that I think is unfair, uncalled for, inappropriate, upsetting, right? And so I went, I'm going to be not the perfect husband, but like I'm just committed. This is the husband I'm going to be, and there's nothing that she can do or say to change it. Like that was my aspiration. And I go, theoretically, that should transform our relationship because she's in a reciprocal relationship like 99% of human beings are. So if I consistently, for the rest of this year, it was like June at that time, like for the next 6 months, I'm going to try this strategy where every morning during my miracle morning, I'm going to read these affirmations that affirm the husband I'm committed to being, why I'm committed to that, and what specific actions, words, phrase, what I will do to be that. And she came home. And here's what I did. I go, I need a big act. Not where I say this is what I'm going to do because I wanted to show her. I didn't want to put, because she had me say things before and not follow through. So I asked myself, what are all of her fears and insecurities in our relationship? And I created this thing on like Shutterfly or whatever called My Forever Pledge. And it was to Ursula, my wife for life, from Hal, your husband till the end. And she's a child of divorce, so she's got, fears and things. And I addressed all of her concerns, right? It'd be like in sales, handling the objections. And I affirmed my commitment to her no matter what. There was nothing she could do to change who I was going to be for her. And I printed it on this beautiful 11 by 14 inch or 14 by 18 inch, really big, white framed, bordered with hearts, like beautiful font. I had it overnighted and I hung it on her wall next to her bed so that she would see it first thing in the morning and last thing before bed. And so when she came home, we had come off this huge conflict and I knew that, and I wanted I go, hey, sweetie, I just want you to know I'm so sorry for how I've treated you and everything I've done. And this is how I'm committed to showing up for you. And you can count on this. I signed it, and that transformed our marriage. And again, I didn't tell her about the affirmations part or that. I just wanted to show her that. But me showing up that way, it was reciprocal. And she would get triggered, just like she always, right? But I wouldn't react. And I wasn't perfect, but I would do my best not to react. And if I reacted, I would quickly catch myself and go, I'm sorry. I just took that personally. It's not about me. How can I serve you better? How can I be a better husband for you? And that was the secret to transforming our marriage. And to this day, it's that. And eventually I confessed to her what I had done. And then she started, now we both approach it that way. And the last thing I'll say on that is I was diagnosed with cancer 3 months later. And thank God, I don't know that our marriage would have made it to the cancer had I not had that epiphany and made that commitment to how I was going to show up for her before I was diagnosed.
Wow.